All right, so here we go. Welcome, New Year, January 2018. Hi, everybody. Hi, Pisces. This is you, and this is Tarot Lumination with your general report for January 2018. Welcome and to the new year, and thank you for choosing Tarot Lumination. We're just going to dive right into it and go from there. Cards are already well shuffled in advance, no reversals, okay, no oracles, none of it, just bare bones. I like to work with what I think of as a journey, heart spread, okay, and we'll figure it out as we go along. Do the routine, you know what we're talking about. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, and then reinterpret the whole thing to suit yourself, okay? And if you have to do the cross-watching as well for your loved ones. This is not a relationship reading. It's just broad spirit energy, okay? So, welcome, Pisces. Oh, you know what? Before we jump in, I think we're going to do this with all the reports. Just to throw in a little bit of the astrologies for fun. It's not an astrology channel, but for fun, you might want to notice. We've got this massive new moon coming in the middle of the month. It's a real game changer for everybody. And just so that you know, as a Pisces, this will be happening over here in your 11th house. Now, if you want to do the research on that yourself, you can do so. Typically, that would be the energy associated with community, all those Aquarian activities, hopes, dreams, wishes of what's best for the broader community, to the point of almost forgetting yourself. Also, it can mean like your hopes and dreams and wishes. It can also imply like the rewards coming to you from your creative activities over here in the 5th house, okay? So please expect great things, great changes, new beginnings, all right? There you go. Micro mini astrology notes, and you'll make the best of it. Do your own homework, of course, all right? So let's go for it. Cards were well shuffled in advance, but I want you to be a witness to the last moment. Here we go. All right. So we're going to cut and do that spread that I just mentioned. I hope you've all had a great holiday and a great year. We're going to start all over again. Here is your deep heart energy. Okay, it might not even have any words or language to it, but your heart is what it is, and it knows what it needs and wants. This is legacy energy, what you're bringing in with you from your so-called past. Maybe it's baggage, maybe it's karmic leftovers, maybe it's past life energy, maybe it's just stress from the last few months. This is energy of the ever-present now as you move through this, what we call time period. It's called January. Time doesn't exist in the great beyond, but here on earth we have this thing called the past and the present and the future. And if you're staying very deeply conscious, you stay as close as you can to the now, which would be this energy. And it is in the now, in the present moment, where you make your decisions based on your perceptions, your preconditioning, your thoughts, dreams, hopes, and wishes. And when you're making your decisions, they're either conscious or unconscious. You're either abandoning to the great unknown, or you are taking control and ownership. Either way, this is the energy of your decisions in a way that needs, how do you make your decisions in the way that's most loving for you, for the best outcome for you, because that's what's best for everybody, okay? Loving yourself first. And this would be the energy of consequence, having made these decisions. Now, if you outsource your life to the rest of the world and you think it's just something that you just react to, then this would feel like fate. If you are consciously involved in your evolution, this will feel like a consequence. Now, this is the energy of what if. In other words, what if you mess up on your decisions? Oh, no. What if you make good decisions? Oh, yeah. It's the same energy, but the reciprocal. And this are the prospects, okay? Where does this all lead? And underneath here, we're going to look at the weather in a second. It's prevailing conditions. And of course, you Pisces, like everyone else, you're going to make the best of it, okay? You're not going to let the weather own you just because it might be miserable, or just because it's awesome doesn't mean you have to feel deliriously happy. Now, hopefully you can see this. There's the heart shape I'm trying to show to you. That's you in your pulsing day-to-day life, starting from here at the very core. Okay. Now, underneath, let's have a look. What do we got? Okay, you've got the Wheel of Fortune here. So it might feel a little bit like a roulette situation for you right now, where you're literally spinning the ball and waiting to see where it all lies and kind of trusting to fate. Now, that's not always such a bad thing, because if you understand that what we call fate is always working for you, whether it feels good and whether it feels bad is a different thing, of course, but it's always working for you. All the elements, all the planets, all the energies of heaven are always working for you. And this is an indication that it's up to you to take full advantage of what we would call fate, and then go for it and allow that magic carpet ride to happen by jumping on the magic carpet. No matter what the dice rolls up, please treat that as like a tremendous, let's say, life opportunity here. And you don't have to be swept along by the fates. If you want to, you can feel it, and it might be very exciting. Like big wave surfing, where you just kind of go for it like a dolphin having fun. Okay. It could also feel a bit scary if you don't feel as though you're like in alignment with all of this. All right. So just pay attention around the new moon in the middle of January, and then towards the end of the month. Let's have a look. Deep heart energy. What have you got? More major arcana. With the Judgment here, this card has been coming up a lot for a lot of readings, private and public. And like deep in your heart energy, it feels like not only is this potentially granted to you, the redemption, the reconciliation, the forgiving and the being forgiven, so that you can rise up again and start from scratch again with, it's almost like, you get the slate wiped clean. It's like you take yourself as a computer into the shop and say, it's totally messed up, I don't know what to do. And they say, well, your computer's perfectly fine. You just need a complete reformat back to factory settings, and there you go. You start from scratch again. Okay? So this feels to me like this is what your heart wants and needs, and this is also available to you, and is what is happening. It's like a chance for total major reboot in your life. Along with, like, maybe others in your world. So you don't have to feel alone, but it's also on the understanding, very much in alignment with the energy of fortune here, that this is, you could say, divinely guided, divinely blessed, and that you have been, it's like you got the lucky winner card. Like, wow, it's like almost like the get out of jail free card. Like, kaboom, your heart craves this, needs this, wants this, deserves this, and you have this available to you. And it's like it's happening right now, and the heart knows this. The heart knows what it needs, what it wants. Now, you may not be consciously aware of this at all. We'll see what's happening. What are you bringing in with you? Okay. Well, there's a deep desire to start from scratch again anyway. So that's kind of like yourself, Pisces, the egoic self, saying, you know what? I do need a fresh new start. I do need a complete reboot. I would really like it to have, it's such so-called like the fairy tale, where fate does work in my favor. And this is what you're bringing in with you. This is like almost like being supercharged. This may not be activated yet, but this is the energy of sacred opportunity, and this would not be here. This card would not be here unless you deserved it. So you might have been doing a lot of homework on yourself recently, or maybe over the years, or perhaps over the last Saturn cycle of 29 and a half years, whatever it is, to get you to this point where there's a massive reboot, restart in your life, and you can see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, and feel it, and you want to go for it, and you're primed and ready to go, and this is kind of a big turn on for you. You can actually kind of feel it in your, let's say, in your bones, and it's like inspires you to want to keep going, like no matter what. Okay, it involves a lot of courage, of course, because with these cards here, these two here, my feeling is that you might be facing deep into these unknown territories, and you might sense it. So that could be very scary too. Like when you start any huge new chapters in your life, you don't really know what the next one is. You might have concepts and hopes and dreams and ambitions, that 11th house energy, for bigger picture stuff, where you can belong more to the bigger picture of the world. see it from a broader perspective? Who knows? We just came out of a very powerful Sagittarius new moon, seeing everything through a bigger, wider lens. So that might be manifesting now, and you can see it. Okay, what about the now? Okay, well, right now with the Ten of Wands here, it's an indication that whatever it was that was so burdensome and that led you to the point of where you're craving and desiring redemption or reconciliation and new start, it does involve putting down what doesn't work. And that's where some people get unstuck, because you know how people love their problems? Well, Pisces, you're just the same. A lot of people get so wrapped up in their problems, their issues, their challenges, their baggage, and their, like say, their legacy, perhaps even to taking it as far as hopes, dreams, wishes, and passions and desires and goals in life that never came to fruition, even no matter how much work and effort you put into it. And it's like, you know, you have to keep going. You know, you're going to get to where you need to get. It's just that it's like the question is, was it worth it? Because now everything is like up in the air with all these new beginnings, and you realize that, wow, it really doesn't. In other words, it's almost like with such a new beginning, like on one of those adventure shows or something, you're not allowed to take anything with you from the past that you've known. In other words, they put you into this secret box chamber, they strip you down naked, and they say, like, here are 10 things that you need to take with you into the future, and you need to set down all these other things that you've brought with you here to the adventure, because you're not going to need any of these. All these ways of being, they are obsolete, and it's time to put them all down. Now, of course, when they tell you that, you think, well, wait a minute, that's my whole life. You're telling me to throw away and disregard everything in my life and my world, my history, in order for me to set that all down and then move ahead, starting from scratch, butt naked? And then they say, actually, yes. And you kind of go, oh, well, actually, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to have just an awesome adventure. And they are saying, like, well, the reality is right now, here and now, dear Pisces, it does involve setting down anything and everything that was not working for you, and then moving forward without the burden, which, of course, deep down is what your heart wants, but your ego might not want that, because people could become so attached to their, let's say, their history, their passions, their desires, dreams, goals, and wishes, that they feel like if they put everything down, they don't have an identity. They don't even know who they are anymore. And so, but that's the whole point of this. The whole point of this thing is to start from scratch and rebuild a new self to a higher standard, a complete reboot with the latest, newest software updates and download versions of you, Pisces. Okay? It's just that, of course, when you go through these things, it's scary. Like, am I going to lose all my files about me? Am I going to lose all my programs, all my favorite pictures and videos? And I don't want to know. But you know that's what's happening, and you know that's what you have to do, so you're going to do it. So how does that affect you? We're talking about the energy of decisions now. Let's have a look. Okay, so it puts you, my feeling is that it puts you in a situation of a double bind, where as exciting as it can be to have a brand new fresh start, it can also be very intimidating, because it's like, to me, it feels like so extreme here. Might be something to do with that big Capricorn new moon. It's so big, it's so strong, it's so, let's say, almost overwhelming here. So in this part of your life, do your own homework on the astrology. It might be such an overwhelm where you have this massive new moon, new beginning around the middle of the month, which of course means the ending of something else. Oh no. Oh no. So it puts you in a decision. I don't know what to do. I'm going to decide not to decide. I am going to make my decisions when I feel like it. When I feel like I'm not quite sure what to do. So when you're making decisions here, it's also on the understanding that it's perfectly okay to make the decision to decide not to decide. It's actually a very powerful and perfectly legitimate and loving strategic move about protect and defend yourself, okay? However, as you can understand from the reading, it also means that the flow of energy stops. So it's really important to understand in making the decisions and how your life evolves that everything kind of tends to stagnate when you decide not to decide. And so things start to move again and evolve again once you decide to make a decision. Okay. And then the question becomes, well, wait a minute, with all this new stuff going on where I don't understand anything, how am I going to make the most loving decisions? I'm a Pisces. I'm not really sure. I'm very, very sensitive right now. Thank you very much. So, but the Capricorn energy is working very harmoniously in your favor, even though it's very daunting. So how do you make decisions that are most loving for you, towards you, that work out the best for you? You do that by placing yourself, see with the Six of Wands here, it's like a victory card. It's almost, I feel it's like fake it till you make it. It's almost like, okay, we're going on this adventure and they're telling me I have to leave everything behind that doesn't work. I already know that what they're talking about, so I'm going to do it. I don't really want to because that's my life. And yes, I get it about the redemption and reconciliation, starting from scratch and forgive and be forgiven. That's great. Thank you very much, Tarot Lumination. But I'm still scared about making my decisions. Even though I'm excited, I'm still scared. And the way to handle that is to fake it till you make it. Pretend as though you already know what to do and how to do it. And understand that you are guided and protected over here. You do have like the green light, the blessing, the big go green light from heaven above to say, Pisces, go for it. What is stopping you? The only thing that is stopping you is the fear of the unknown and the fear of leaving everything behind that you do know. Okay, so the only way to do it is to literally brainwash yourself, like super powered, whatever they call it, NLP stuff, verbal programming, like I'm an amazing winner. I'm an amazing winner. I am a winner. I'm always a winner. I always make the right decisions. That's me. That's what I do. That's how I do it. See me. I'm so cool. I really know exactly what I'm doing. I am going to make a very bold, brave decision. Thank you very much. And everyone's going to notice how awesome I am because I made the right decision, because it works for me, Pisces. And because it works for me, it's best for everyone else. Yay! Okay, so that's the kind of attitude we're talking about here. Big, bold, brave, courageous. I'm a winner anyway. Even if you might be shaking in your naked boots here. Shaking in your boots naked. Okay, sorry. Got carried away with the analogies there. So let's see, what are the consequential types of energies here? Okay, so it brings you into a state of abundance that becomes tangible, evidential, where you can see it unfolding around you. In other words, oh, wow, so it is that kind of simple. Make good, healthy, self-loving decisions, not about ego, mania, narcissism, vanity, self-serving. No, but what is the most loving thing for you, Pisces, right now? Is it to shed one of these attitudes, shed one of these burdens, relationships, jobs, careers, people, locations, desires, and then look boldly into a new future and then go from there? And then realizing every time you do make a decision that is about loving yourself first, then it starts to add up. It's almost like spinning that wheel, ding, and the little the little ball, whatever, it turns into a winner, a little winner. Okay, but you don't have, the thing is, you can't, nothing happens until you make the decision and you take the risk. With risk comes reward, okay? So it takes bold risk to attain the rewards. And when you make bold, self-loving decisions, then the rewards come in. You start stocking up like the rewards that you deserve, tiny little bits at a time, but it does add up to the point where you can see incrementally now. And I'm seeing this as has a long-term trajectory with this reading I'm feeling here because of this Capricorn new moon, very harmonious with you, where it starts to work in your favor, and it adds up. The evidence adds up about how you're increasing this, the substance, the good stuff in your life, one scary decision at a time. So what if you mess up? Okay, then you get bound back into this kind of goop again. So what if you make good decisions? If you make good decisions, you get to indulge yourself in the juicy feeling of like, oh man, that felt so good. It feels very good to love yourself, but it doesn't mean it turns into, like, again, egomania. This is more about the sheer pleasure, the sheer joy. Like you can toast yourself with a glass of champagne every time you see clear evidence that you made a bold, brave, courageous decision to love you first. Okay? And you might just not be used to that because you might have been so bound up in what you thought was your life. Okay? What you thought was your life. But you have, okay, everybody knows about this, you have the liberty to release the chains of bondage, and you can release yourself from that. And it's such a delicious feeling. It's the feeling of like, you know what? If people want to accuse me of being an alcoholic just because I had a glass of champagne, that's their problem. I'm going to treat myself, indulge myself, and it's going to feel good, and I'm going to allow myself to feel good. So where does that take you? Okay, new levels of awakening where you realize that, oh my gosh, all along, all this time, I have been so innocent. Why didn't I get all this stuff before? But anyway, it doesn't matter because you can start fresh right now. But it puts you into a position where you realize it is like starting over, and the intentions are good, and that you start becoming more and more and more and more and more aligned with your deep heart energy. And then this pattern here of self-reward, self-congratulation, let's say, self-appreciation, where you give yourself permission to feel good, to feel happy, to love and be loved, it actually feels delicious, and you realize how little that you knew before about how the formula works, but how exciting it is to learn what needs to be learned as the new formula starts to unfold. Because then this adds up and you realize that, oh, it is a learning process. It's not like you're going to make one profound life-changing decision and the rest of your life you can put it on autopilot, like thinking you're going to marry the perfect person and then the rest of your life is amazing. No, we're talking about the realization that it is a long-term learning process about how to love oneself accordingly, and it does add up over time. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope you get something out of this, Pisces. I'm just going to throw this other card over here for reference, and you can reinterpret this however you want. Okay, I know a lot of you are really smart at this stuff, so go for it. All right, I think you're in a really good place, and just with this energy here, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can. I can do it. I'm amazing, I'm awesome, and I deserve this new beginning. Thank you very much, Pisces, for choosing Tarot Illumination. Have a great January. Bye-bye.